And then shall that wicked be revealed. The Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him is after the workings of sin.
Not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, send her away, for she cried after us. Then why did the disciples say, man, get this woman away from us?
Because they don't know who she is.
But it says there's a woman of Canaan. Matthew wrote this. He knows it's a woman of Canaan.
Yeah, and the next verse answers it. So in the next verse, everyone thinks that he's answering the woman, but he's actually answering his disciples when he says, but he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
How do they not know?
If that's true, and she's not an Israelite, that makes Christ a liar.
No, it doesn't, brother. So let's break this down. First question, how did all 12 disciples not know she's an Israelite?
Pardon?
How do they not know she's an Israelite?
Because she comes from the land of Canaan.
Okay, but if she's an Israelite, was she wearing fringes?
Is she wearing fringes?
Don't Israelites wear fringes?
Yes.
Okay, so wouldn't she have been wearing fringes?
Because she's a lost sheep. That's the whole point.
I knew you was going to say that. So I can ask them something?
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Brother, who is the children that, in Mark's account, it says he came to feed the children first? Who's that? Is the children all 12?
Is the children all 12?
All 12 tribes.
I'll have to read the verse for context.
Okay. Mark chapter 7, and let's go to verse 26. Okay, well, let's just read it. It says, the woman was a Greek, a Syro-Phoenician by nation. It doesn't say she's an Israelite for the record, but it says, and she besought him that he would cast forth...
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Racha HaKwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to the other elders, you brother and you fellow believers of the truth. Shalom to you few sisters who support the truth. Shalom to the elect. So I want to go back on another edition, but I first want to read a comment before we go back into this woman of Canaan. Just pulling up more information on AI, just crushing these guys. You know, once you start pushing the envelope on AI and you go deeper and pull out history and you give them common sense factors, so to speak, you can't deny it. Now, I don't know what's up with the Jakes that call in. They feel like they got they got it. They got the answers. Their fist is tight, ready to tell the truth. And the way this man, Brother Hassad, asks questions, quick, fast, sharp, and Jake gets choked up. You know what I'm saying? So all you got to do is understand the foundation and everything to come together. I'll show you what I mean later. But first I'm going to read the comment that he left. And it says, and then I'm going to go back into it again. In fact, I went and did the lesson. Where am I at? This is the lesson I originally did. Why would Yahweh Shah say he not sent them but unto the lost sheep? Wouldn't he have known the Canaanite woman? Maybe I'll touch on that in a second. But this video kind of brings all of that out and why. So I just want to jump on here. This is by Yashar Ban Apayam. I believe I'm spelling it right. Yashar Ban Apayam. It was another brother too left a message talking about how they're now waking up and seeing that GMS has the truth. Salakia, brother, I think the video or comment was removed. I don't know why, but it was, or I just can't find it. Anyway, it says, I truly believe that after elders from GMS prayed to Yahweh in the ancient Hebrew language to destroy these men, I witnessed it up close and personal how priest Hakar and brother Hassad are showing their true color. Now, these guys committed perjury. Was I going to get Romans 1? I'll probably get that. Which means they lied. They're deceptive. what do they call that? When some betrayal, they have committed treason and betrayal, which is, I believe the scriptures go into, men shall be lovers of themselves, accusers, and so forth. And it says, in selling out the word and teaching that all the non-Israelites can be saved and have the same hierarchy as the Israelites in the kingdom, and all because they can't make money off the community. And as I said, this priest Akar, he said he got 3 wives because he has clean breath. I guess it's another video. I don't know what that's about. I mean, you can have okay breath and good money. That's why, like, if you didn't sell out the Gentiles, the Israelite Gentiles, then you could have the freshest breath you want. Them women may be complaining, you're not making enough money, or he's working on 2, 3 more wives. Anyway, I don't know. I'm just saying. And it says the kingdom, because they can make money off the community that sells upon Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. You don't even hear them say the name Yahweh or Yahweh Shai. That's why I got them looking like Christians. They calling out the names that make money like Jesus, God, and Yah, and Yeshua. This is Matthew 16:26. What a man giveth to gain the whole world and lose his own soul, right? And yeah, which means his life, lose his soul and everything else. It was also, somebody left a comment that they took a $7,000 bag, a 7K bag. I don't know how true that is, but to sell out the Lord's name for 7K, you're not even on the level of Judas. Anyway, this is madness and it's crazy work, and all this just to make money. I remember I defended Priest Akar and Brother Hassad, and this is what this brother is going through, betrayal. But this is good. This is how you wake up. See, some wake up because we found Christianity was phony, but the scripture says narrow is the gate. You know what I'm saying? So just because you wake up to the truth, there's other factors in coming into the truth and being of the elect, or hopefully elect, trying to be of the elect. They put all these burdens on you. You're sending in donations. I've got texts, or let me say comments, that said, I can't remember, that they bought a lot of packages from them and made a lot of money. These guys made a lot of money off of them, and then they took the bag, and that's why I did that video showing them running with the bag. They took the bag and ran off. Anyway, I remember I defended Priest Akar and Brother Assad on your channel once. What it says, Hassad on you, our channel. Let me say that. Put a U in there. Brother Hassad on our channel. And these guys did a couple videos off of me. I didn't see him till the brother sent it to me, so I don't worry about it. And and I told you, that we can't knock him for his hustle. But now I see where you coming from. You confronted me on my comment. I guess I was definitely overseeing things, not reading their spirit right, having knowledgeable discernment. This is beautiful though, man. It's not about hatred. You know, it is about hating false doctrine, but these guys, no, this is our job. Our job is to convert you. There's no extra debates. There's no all this fluff and all these people calling in and all this confusion about who's what and who did what and where. But we have to stand and come against these false doctrines. But now I see what you were talking about, the water for correcting me. All praises to the most, well, brother, you got to get rid of them, what's that, tetragrammaton, them little acronyms. It's just simple. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Shalom Akim. So now I know you're kind of new in the faith, and this is where the scriptures say, like rebuke them, or if they're found in a fault, restore them to health. So we don't do the APTTMH. We just, this lazy work. We just spell it out. But this is a great video, a great comment. I'm glad that a brother has converted. Lord's will, he is of the elect. See, the thing about it, you can't stop the elect. I don't know why Christians get pissed. Other Israelites get mad at us. You can't stop who the Lord wakes up. You just can't stop it. We don't have all these burdens. These guys teach the law. You have to follow all the law. You'll be saved. And when Revelation 2 and 10 tell you totally different, be faithful unto death. But we do believe in following the law too. But, I mean, we follow the traffic laws, and that don't mean it saves you. You can go through the green light, and somebody can smash you and kill your ass. But anyway, back on to more of the lesson. I want to jump back to where I was, retake on this, because in this video, he was saying how, if he said the lost sheep of the house of Israel and so forth and so on, why didn't he know she was an Israelite? Well, as I said prior to that, in the scriptures where Yahushua told you can look at the video, Yahushua told Peter and them to bring their swords on purpose, just so it may be fulfilled. Just as he told his apostles, disciples, or whatever, that came with him to the Canaanite woman, he already knew. Yahushua is sharp. He already knew, but so it will be fulfilled to convert them through faith and belief. Right? If she said, "Heal me, O Lord," that faith. But the other people would have said, the other Jews would have said, "Well, hell no. She didn't show works." And that's why in James they had to say faith without works is dead. So anyway, I'm going to jump back to real quick James 1:1. James, a servant of God, the Lord Jesus Christ, Yahushua, to the 12 tribes that are scattered abroad. Again, you have to watch the other video, but I think I'm going to touch on this real quick. Scattered abroad. So, the Canaanite women on the coast of Tyre and Sidon, and the reason why I got that, I had it up, that map of Tyre and Sidon, which is probably 90 miles from Damascus, and then you had Galilee, north of Galilee, and Damascus, which was the 10 cities, and where the Messiah walked, and he went through the coast of Tyre and Sidon. That was all going through Damascus and in various places. Why? That's why I read James 1:1. And this is what AI says, right? Members of the 12 tribes were definitely in Tyre and Sidon, right? And some scholars will say, well, in the time of Jesus, it all fulfilled, everything changed, but it didn't. I got information on that too. But it says, but remember, that was I believe the Roman diaspora, or whatever the case is. It was a diaspora, and the Israelites, although it's so close, there was inherited rights to different lands. Let me go down here. The Jewish presence in these Phoenician coastal cities was driven by two main factors. Commerce. As major maritime hubs, Tyre and Sidon attracted Jewish merchants and traders in 12 tribes centuries before the time of James. Persecution, the scattering, James 1:1, likely included. This proves that the Messiah was going to the Israelites. This is why it says in the book of James, to the 12 tribes are scattered abroad. So you mean to tell me he collected some goddamn Hamitic heathens or whatever nation before collecting his own? And then you got to show me where all his disciples and apostles were heathens. You would have thought, since they were heathens, right? Since he was after the heathens, that he would have a bunch of heathens with him. You would think that. Even some of them was calling themselves after other names. You had Simon the Zealot or something like that, which meant a certain particular thing when you looked it up. But the fact is, this man, Yahushua, this great man, the greatest man to walk the planet, had all the opportunity to collect heathens and walk with them and take the nation of Tyre and Sidon, or the Canaanites, and say, you're coming with me so I can make you a disciple to go get the other Canaanites, the other Zidonians, or whatever. You would have thought he would be able to do that if he wanted to. This is weird energy, man. So anyway, so I put in here, right here, could it be possible, looking in history of the diaspora? Some still maintain Jewish identity while also merging with other gods. Let's go ahead to Exodus. This is what it say. Now this man, the brother Hassad, he said, well, why didn't she have fringes? Why did she do this? Why did she do that? This is what I'm getting ready to read. I don't know why these guys, see, this is why you shouldn't try to do debates unless you've been very well studied. And these men were affiliated, let me say, at least with GMS with us at one time. So they have an advantage on a lot of people that don't know certain things. Exodus 20. If we ever got into the debates, it wouldn't even be a debate, period. Because then we would have to go into the certain things, go into the words. And because of Elder Apostle Taha, we have to say that, with that blue letter, wielding that blue letter, you have a whole lot of Israelites now looking up things. Just like today's basketball, everybody's got heroes, but a lot of these players patented themselves after the original. You know, like MJ, Larry Bird, and various, and then Kobe. You know, you get the point. So a lot of people are patenting their studies after us, but they're still not there. So anyway, let's go to Exodus 20. I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Why did he say before me? And in some translations, it say no. Some other verses says no other gods beside me, because a lot of the scattering of the Israelites still kept right Jewish identity, meaning they would have still had their fringes, they would have still had the border of blue, or there were certain ways that things were wore on a Hebrew Israelite woman that would have made a great distinction in the fact that we look different. So you would have had these different distinctions. And even though we followed practicing being Jews, we also merged with other gods. Just like Greek today. When you look at the word Greek, it doesn't mean just one nation. Greeks are multitudes of nations, right? And when you do the history, there's a lot of Israelites that conform to Greek tradition. Even today, people who join the fraternities, sororities, you still keep your same religion. Do you know there's Christians and they do these fraternities and sororities in the church? Like you could be a sorority and be a Muslim or fraternity. You see what I'm saying? You could be an atheist and be a Greek. This is what Paul was dealing with in the church of Corinthians. This is the problem. These guys are isolating everything. Well, since they were Tyrese out, it wasn't in Jerusalem, but this is. But do you know how close they were? It was different provinces and different inherited rights. But when we scattered, where do you think we went? And where do you think we married into? And what did we do? Deuteronomy 20:64 said we were scattered into all nations. What Brother Hassad is saying, this is what he's saying. How did he know this was an Israelite? Was she wearing fringes? Did she have identity? And if she was wearing fringes, then she would have been a Jew. But in his mindset, she couldn't have been wearing fringes because they didn't know who she was. As I said in the video, Yahweh already knew. But he made that example of telling them, so, we're not sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So they said, send her away. He was the example of bringing you back through faith. If she really believed, in fact, she showed that example by saying, heal my daughter. That was the example. But these same men was on a more carnal matter because of a Jewish tradition, Judean tradition, to throw her ass off because she ain't no true believer. So it's likely she still had fringes, but she merged in the Greek tradition. This is why he said, have no other gods beside me. Because we were still following Judaism, but we were also following Greek tradition. And it was allowed. They were doing that. Okay? So it wasn't that's no big, great Jewish community. Just like you had the Jews and then you had the Grecians. You had the Greek-speaking Jews. And then you had the Jews. This is where you get the term Hellene and Hellenistis. You know what I'm saying? The Hellene Jews would have been ones like the Syrophoenician, or they had somewhat of practice, but they didn't believe. You know what I'm saying? It's no gray area in believing. You know, you either believe or you don't. Whether you're wearing fringes like the IUIC, but, you know, are they really truly believing if they don't want to call on the name of the Lord? Absolutely not. Anyway, they merged, it says here, it is absolutely historical documented that some of the Jews diaspora, those living outside of the Holy Land, practice and merged synchronistic religion. Yep, that's what it was called. That's what I meant to say. My first time reading this. While the Jews in Judea and Galilee, which they went north of, were becoming more strict, right? Jews living in foreign lands often blended their identity with local cultures. Here is how it happened around the time of Jesus, Yahushua. The Elephantine community in Egypt, a lot of people think since the mixed multitude and the Jews left that there was nobody staying back that was Jews. The Israelites are scattered. Remember, we had children. Anyway, the Elephantine Egypt, Jewish identity. There were Jewish soldiers and their families who had a temple of Yahweh. See that? The merged historical records of the Elephantine papyri shows that they also honored other deities alongside of Yahweh, just like Solomon did when he got old, such as Anat. Anat was a traditional Canaanite goddess. Significant. So it was still well known that she was a Jew, but she was merged with other cultures. This is why it was originally called Canaanite-ish. Even though they identified as Jews, they were doing exactly what Exodus 20 forbade by God Yahweh to consort. See, the AI won't say this unless you go into it. The influence of Hellenism, the diaspora, Alexandria, in the time of other gods. You get the point. The God-fearers, I like to bring that up in like Acts 13, where it says, here men of Israel, I've brought you out of the land of Egypt, and it talks about the God-fearers, the men of, what did it say, the men of God, the God-fearers, and the, you that fear the seed of Abraham, you know. Many of the Greek and Canaanite cities, there were people who occupied middle ground. Gentiles following Jewish ways. There were many pagans who started worshiping the Jewish God, but kept their old statues. Jews following, because we was married into some of them. Jews following Gentile ways. Conversely, some Jews became so comfortable in foreign traditions that they maintained their ancestry, but lost their exclusivity, essentially becoming what the Bible calls as apostates, like these guys. Why this matter with the Canaanite woman? Tyre and Zidon were merging with common. Unlike some Jews who were merging Yahweh, it says Yahweh, with other gods, this woman, total outsider, approached Jesus, called it Lord and Son of David. She showed exclusive faith in him many Jews of the time was failing to show. This is why he did that. And I just hope this makes that clear. Right? Like I said, you can watch the other video, and I even have AI in there saying that it's possible that this woman was a Canaanite. An Israelite. What I want to do is, real quick, Romans 1:28. And even as they did not like to retain their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which were not convenient. Reprobate means they didn't stand the test. As the brother said, he watched it, he fought against it, he was blinded, and you ought to be damn thankful that the Lord opened your eyes to see. Now is when the journey begins. You might have said the journey began, but now it really begins, because now the faith is being tested. And this brother's journey has begun, because this was faith. It was tested. And he said to himself, how many of us can say that? To go down that road and say, you know what? Nah, this doesn't sound right. Well, I did that with Comfy. That's all I have on that shalom.